you being one of, you've really shined since the medicine. And we actually, just for everyone else in the background story, me and Sarah have been working in a different container before Iboga, because I used to do coaching work and other methodologies. And, I'm sure we can both relate in this. It helped a little, but there was still something that it couldn't do. And eventually, that's why I found Iboga, and also what reconnected us and why you chose to be in one of my retreats in the first place. So I would love to hear more from you. So I have some questions for you to start with. And I'd love to start with just who were you before you came to the retreat, before you found Iboga? Like, what were your problems? How was your mind? Like, what were you struggling with in your life and just day to day?
Yeah, I mean, I was not like the worst version of myself, I would say. I wasn't like in the throes of my darkest moment when I came to my first retreat with you. Um, which I think is good. I think you want to be able to make this decision to go meet this medicine from a place of like clarity and yeah, and I was able to think pretty clearly. Things were relatively stable in my life, but yeah, I was pretty stuck.
Mm-hmm.
I was pretty stuck in some ways. Like, yeah, I was doing fine, but I was not able to go beyond that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I I was coping a lot. I was good at coping. I had my coping mechanisms. My ways of kind of escaping myself so I didn't have to think about how kind of uncomfortable I was in my own skin. Yeah, and yeah, there was some patterns that were not great. My patterns in terms of relationships, in terms of like work that I was settling for that um yeah, wasn't really allowing me to honor myself. Um yeah. Um so I was fine, but I was also kind of tired of being fine.
Mm-hmm.
Because I had
Yeah.
been fine before. I'd had moments of being, you know, bad and being very depressed and then moments of being like fine.
Yep.
Um but yeah, I wasn't really able to go beyond that.
Yeah. Yeah, and it sounds like, as you're saying, like you were okay, you're high functioning, but you didn't feel like you were thriving your life, and there were certain problems you couldn't really um, solve for yourself, whether it be relationship, career, and also that you felt a little stuck. Like you were okay, like you weren't like super depressed, but you weren't really happy. You weren't going towards the things you want. Um, and so, what did you try before Iboga? Like before coming to this, what were the things you did try?
Yeah. I tried everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, um I tried, yeah, I'm lots of different kinds of talk therapy that were helpful and supportive, um but still not quite able to fully heal the things that were allowing me to like be in my authentic skin, be in my
Hmm.
authentic power.
Yeah.
um
Like still stuck in like you said, the coping mechanisms and the patterns and the settling and not really feeling, being able to be all of you, being comfortable in your skin, as you said.
yeah, I mean, and I tried frankly like letting my relationships complete me,
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
tried finding my power there. Um and yeah, that didn't work. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, getting a good picture of where you were before, what you tried before. Well, then let's go into a little bit about your experience with the Iboga, and then we can talk about after and who you became. So you came to your first retreat with Iboga, and there's so much to this, right? There's the integration, and I actually recommended you to come back, and you did. So you did two retreats with me, because I'd love to hear, like, how was that first retreat for you? What was your just your own pure experience, however you want to talk about it. And then that integration time and then coming back. And like, then in total, like, how did that from beginning to end really affect and change you?
Yeah. Um, yeah, my first experience with medicine, my first retreat with you, where
Hmm.
there was two ceremonies, two medicine ceremonies. Yeah, I mean, I reconnected with myself in a really deep way. Like I had a deep experience of what it's like to feel connected with my truth.
Yeah.
And I got to see a lot of possibilities for myself and feel those possibilities in my body of like what it could be like in my life if I was able to live from that place. Um, yeah. Um, I mean, it was just like a reconnection with my spiritual life, with my spirituality, with the part of me that like believes in something bigger.
Hmm.
So that's huge. Um, and it was the beginning of letting go of some things that were not serving me, some choices that I was making that I did not need to be making anymore. That some part of me was I don't know, holding on to whatever those choices were giving me, for a sense of security or because of certain beliefs I had. Um,
And while you're on that, I'm just curious, like, what do you feel has supported that for you to finally see it and to let it go? Was it the Iboga? Was it like yourself bringing yourself through that? Was it, the provider? Or what was it for you?
it was kind of a magical combination of all of those, I think.
Yeah.
Um, I had to be brave and say yes to go do this medicine that like I didn't know much about, and I didn't really know what my experience would be like. I knew that it was possible it would be very, very hard.
Hmm.
Um, and I signed up to go and do it anyways. So that was me showing up for myself and saying like this that I knew there was more for myself. I knew my soul wanted more for me in this life, right? Um, so that was the part I played, was showing up, and those moments when I was working with the medicine, when I was on the medicine, there were hard moments, and I had to take deep breaths, and I had to um, just continue to stay open and trust it, and be in touch with my courage, um, and I did all of those things. But yeah, the medicine itself, it did a lot of the work. It's a very intelligent medicine. It's yeah, it's able to go places that you didn't know needed to be visited within yourself. It's able to help you address things that you didn't know you even needed to address. And of course, my provider was a huge part of that as well. Like, um, with you were my provider.
Yeah.
You were a huge part of that as well. Um, yeah, and I've had more experiences with the medicine, and I'm realizing, you know, the medicine can do great work, but it can be gentler, and the experience can be deeper, more efficient, maybe. Um, yeah, with a provider that is able to be with you, like
Mm-hmm.
really fully be with you, and that you're able to fully trust. Um, and I was so yeah. My first retreat, I had all of these epiphanies and this reconnection with myself, and I went home. And I remember asking, you had me ask Iboga, like, how is my integration going to be when I get home? And I just got this one word message that was rocky. It's going to
Yeah.
be rocky. And I
Yeah.
was like, okay, okay. um, and
Yeah.
it was. There was there was confidence. There was this renewed sense of hope and um empowerment. But yeah, there was a lot of old habits that I still like needed to work through, and that I still had to go back to a few more times and experience like what it felt like with my soul kind of there, um you know giving me reminders that like, yeah, this feeling, you've been here before, and you know how this turns out, and you know there's more for you. Yeah, so I'm really glad I went back for my second retreat with you. Yeah, it was just a whole nother journey, going deeper and finding some things that like I wasn't ready to deal with maybe in my first retreat.
Mm-hmm.
um Yeah, and then I mean, even after the two retreats, there was still kind of a roller coaster journey um when I got home. But it wasn't like I ever felt totally lost. It wasn't like I ever felt like I was totally abandoning myself. Um yeah, there was ups and downs, and then like, yeah, some like wandering off the path, but like slowly I just stuck with it. And I, yeah, kind of ended up on this path where suddenly I am feeling really good in my life. Like,
Mm-hmm.
uh, uh, yeah, I'm in a better place than I've ever been. So, um, yeah, and closer to the things that my soul wants for me. I'm much closer to those things. Um, Many of them, like I have right now with me. I have, um, yeah, I have a connection with my power that I really needed, and yeah, a lot of inspiration with my life, and a lot of motivation, and um, yeah. So it's not an overnight process.
No.
It's been a year. Yeah, it's not a magic pill. It's
Mm-hmm.
not a magic pill. In many ways, like the work really begins when you go home. Um, you know, so so um, you have to be willing to do that work, but it's so worth it, right? It's your soul. It's your it's your precious one wild and precious life. It's your connection with yourself. It's
Mm-hmm.
your trust in yourself, and those are invaluable, and it's so worth going on a journey of truth, and um, yeah, just kind of surrendering to that journey and sticking with it.
Yeah, and I want to ask you because you said such an important piece. So I'm going to talk about it from my perspective for a second because for me, before I was even a provider, integration was the most important part. And you mentioned that, like it was a little rocky. There were a lot of habits you realized you had to break, and some that you needed to almost like re-experience. Because
Mm-hmm.
by re-experiencing them, the way I explain it is that Iboga kind of takes that numbing that strips away that familiarity of continuing to choose the same thing. And so after Iboga and in the integration, when you experience it, it's like you're re-experiencing it for the first time. And sometimes it feels like for the like you've been numb to the way it's painful, and then after the medicine it actually shows you, wait, this is actually really painful and this is what you continue to do to yourself time and time again. Would you say that's how it was for you in your own experience of like why you said like sometimes you needed to re-experience these things to then like redirect and continue listening to your soul, continuing listening to yourself? Or what was that for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's definitely part of what I was going through as I was on my roller coaster. Yeah, just there was things like you said that I wasn't even aware were were part of some of these cycles, like little mini choices that I was like not realizing how they played into the bigger patterns until I was kind of experiencing them after taking the medicine, and I was like, oh wait, this is that same loop. This is um that same belief that is not coming from a place of love for myself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I guess the word that came to mind when you were asking me that question was like deserving. I feel like I just on my path as I continued after taking the medicine, I had connected with this like sense of deservingness for myself, like
Mm-hmm.
of deserving a deeper loving relationship with myself. And the more I continued, the stronger that sense got. um and yeah, it just became kind of clearer and clearer that like, oh, I deserve more than this thing that I'm settling for. um
And
yeah.
how do you feel like the medicine supported that, where other methodologies or other healing modalities didn't help that?
I mean, it got to the root of my relationship with myself. Like, it got to the root of my ability to love myself. Of
Yes.
my yeah, yeah. It Yeah, how did the medicine help me do that? Yeah, I mean, it showed me what it feels like to really to really love myself, to really be in that place of love for myself, and I got to see that. And when you see that,
Mhm.
you can't unsee it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a good way to say it. Um,
Yeah.
mhm. So then, what would you say through these retreats for yourself? What was your biggest lesson that came through? Or a few lessons. It doesn't have to be one.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the importance of loving myself. And it's a phrase that I feel like I've heard throughout my life, like, love yourself, treat yourself.
Yeah.
um uh yeah, and I didn't really understand what that meant. But yeah, thanks to some guidance with like the Bwiti teachings that hold these medicine experiences, um and thanks to like your guidance, I got to really understand what that means. Like,
Mhm.
it means being honest with myself, um, unconditionally. It means, yeah, really trusting myself, really building a relationship of trust with myself. Yeah, by making choices that help me take care of myself, that help me that help me feel good, help me feel
Yes.
like I have my integrity. um, that help me explore the things I need to explore and follow my gut and be in touch with my intuition, right? And be in touch with this part of me that might be connected to something bigger. All of that is part of loving myself. Um, so yeah, that was one of the big lessons. Yeah, and I, yeah, I'm really grateful for my awareness of my mind now,
Yes.
and how my mind is not me, right?
Yeah.
I think I had done like yoga things and meditation things, and had learned about monkey mind and how to watch the mind, but like Iboga will show you in a different and more powerful way, like this is what your mind is and this is not you.
Hmm.
This is just your mind. It's part of you, right? It's 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 a tool that you have. It's a part of you, but yeah, it's not you.
Hmm.
um and yeah, and that's been huge. Yeah, and I'm still, working on that, and I'll keep working on that for the rest of my life. My mind will always be my mind. It will
Yeah.
always be a monkey mind. And now I understand what that phrase means. Like, it's just the nature of the mind uh to grab onto things, or to try and convince you of things, and or to try and get you another dopamine fix, right? That's the mind loves dopamine fixes, and our modern world has a lot of them readily available. Um,
When I'm gonna do like a series about the mind, because here's the other thing is that gets
cool.
missed a lot is that we programmed our mind. Like our mind wasn't born this way. But
Mm,
after a long time, like if you do the same thing over time, it's like y- years pass on and you don't even realize that you actually programmed it in certain ways. And so I am going to do a series all about the mind, and especially for the people that have gone through the medicine, because it's easier to work with those people than people that haven't, because they haven't got to really see the full, really how the mind works and have that experience. So I definitely love to continue sharing those things with you, because there's
yeah,
the continue of growth after the Iboga of like, okay, what does it really take to reprogram the mind?
yeah,
I'll talk about it. It's like a computer a lot of times. It's like you put this program in, but you can change it.
yeah,
And then like these old ways or thoughts can come in, but they don't have as much of a hold on you anymore. And then eventually you can actually program it into a different way. And of course, it's the mind, sometimes things are going to come up, but it's like a garden. You got to keep weeding it. And like you said, you're doing your work around it. You don't have to believe everything that comes in there.
yeah,
So, yeah, great. I love that you brought up the mind, because the mind's just a big one, because it's the biggest tool to create. And so, yeah, if we have a lot of shit in there, we end up just keep creating the shit, versus if we can clean it up and actually use it for its purpose, which is to create, it's a creating tool.
yeah,
It has a lot of purposes.
yeah. And I can feel that it's getting easier. It's not like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's getting easier. Like, I have been practicing. That's been my work that I've been doing, especially around like judgments of
Hmm.
myself and other people when I feel these critical judgments coming up. Um, I've just realized, like, oh, wait, this isn't like my deepest truth. But,
Yes.
like, I don't know, criticizing this person's outfit or whatever my brain is doing, like, I don't actually care. Um, this is my mind, like, and and yeah, it's just getting easier now. Like, when thoughts pop up where I'm like, oh, like, it's just easier to kind of let them go, like, not
Yeah.
give them my energy, not give them my time, and I feel like they're showing up less often.
Yes, exactly. That's
Yeah,
exactly it. Because what you stop giving your attention to, it eventually dies. It stops coming. Because it's like, but if you give attention to it, it's like making it stronger. I use the analogy of a house plant. It's like give it attention, it'll live and it'll thrive. Don't give it attention, it's going to die. And
Yeah.
same thing with our thoughts and what we're choosing. So beautiful to hear your perspective on that from just your
Yeah.
own lived experience.
Yeah. And I would say there's one more thing that's jumping out at me
Mhm.
now, like about kind of one of my main takeaways that I feel like I've been leaning into more recently, kind of as I'm coming to like, passing my 1 year mark, coming up
Yeah.
on almost a year and a half after taking the medicine. One of the Bwiti teachings is about how our purpose is to just be in life. Um, and I didn't really understand that. Yeah, it's kind of related to what we were talking about with the mind,
Mhm.
um, and dopamine. And yeah, the mind wants to stay busy with all these things and wants to be anxious and wants to, yeah, take you away from the present moment. And like when you've done your work with yourself and with your mind, you get to the point, and I'm getting to this point where it's a lot easier to just truly be present and like be comfortable, just, yeah, just being in the present with yourself and just enjoying the little pleasures that are not like shooting up your dopamine. They're, like just little pleasures like the breeze or the birds,
Yeah.
or being in the company of friends and having, you know uh, a conversation that is just coming from your truth, knowing that you're being your authentic self. Yeah, it's a lot easier to enjoy the little pleasures that don't take you on a crazy roller coaster ride
Mhm.
of dopamine spikes and crashes, right? It's more peaceful. And my life is starting to feel that way.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And it sounds like you're saying it also gets easier. Like, yes, you have to put in the effort, but once you do, it gets easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you continue to trust the medicine, you have to continue trusting it for a long time after the retreat. And even as you have moments of feeling frustrated again, or
Mhm.
going back to old habits, and yeah, and as long as you come back to your path of like trusting what you experienced with this amazing gift, this medicine, um yeah, it will keep leading you. Yeah, it will keep leading you
Mhm.
to a place where it's easier. Yeah.
Great. So, following up question then would be, how would you explain for yourself how Iboga supports someone, uh, and how can it support change and how can it support growth from your own experience?
Yeah, I mean, it's truth medicine. And so by putting you in touch with your truth, you you can't you can't get away with half-assing things for yourself. You can't get away with not being in your integrity and living a life that aligns with your values. So it helps in that way. Um, yeah, it gives you a lot of like, especially if you're working with a good provider like you. Iboga gives you a lot of like direct messages.
Mhm.
um, when you're having your experience with it, that you can carry with you. Um, it helps you heal old traumas, like
Mhm.
that you you made these strange agreements with yourself in your past, long time ago, usually in your childhood. And that's part of what's been holding you back, like part of
Mhm.
what's been making you feel stuck. It's these beliefs that you picked up often when you were a child that are not helpful, and you don't even know that they're there.
Mm-hmm.
um, so yeah, it can help you see these moments in your past that it's time to heal. It's time to relearn. It's time to let go of. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, and move forward with like freedom from those beliefs that might have been holding you back. Um, yeah, and then it'll, you can get understanding from it about what you need to do, about what your path looks like. Um, and if you continue trusting that and knowing that it is connected with your truth, then you will find the things that you truly want, that are truly destined for you when you are in your full power, when you are in your fully peaceful, authentic um, place with yourself. Yeah.
Beautiful. And you also mentioned quite a few times having like a how much the provider that's there is important, like a good provider. So let's touch on that a little bit. What does that mean for you? What is the importance of the provider in like what's the role that they play from your perspective? And then what makes a good provider? How do you see a good provider?
Yeah. So, you know, we when we sign up to do Iboga, we know we're signing up to do something hard, potentially hard, right? But what I'm realizing is that the more you can trust your provider, it will be a little easier, right? The more you can trust your provider, it will be easier. The hard work will feel a little less scary. The scary moments will feel a little less scary, right? Sometimes Iboga will make you face some fears, and if you've got somebody there with you that you trust, and if you feel held in that process, um, you can go to those places. So yeah, and yeah, with other providers, you might not even let yourself go to those places because it might just be too scary, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, so you want a provider that you can trust, and that means you want a provider that you know is being very safe with your body. Um, you want a provider that you know is taking care of the environment around you. You know, that's kind of a um, common knowledge around any medicine that is like this, any plant medicine, psychedelic medicine, even, people who are smoking weed. There's like a set and setting thing that's important. Like when you're doing something that's altering your mind in some way, it matters to have um, a setting that feels good. That's going to affect your experience. That's context for you, and yeah, and the people that you are around are going to affect your experience, right? So you want to be around somebody whose energy you can trust, that they have a lot of confidence and groundedness in themselves, not overly confident, right? But just the right
Mm-hmm.
amount of confidence where they know what needs to be done, because they've had the experience, because they've learned the skills, and yeah, and you can feel that, right? When
Yeah.
you sign up to go on this journey with.
Oh, your voice cut out. Hold on. Is it just me?
Is that better?
Yep, that's better. Yeah.
Yeah, so when you go on this journey with this truth medicine, you already are starting to be able to sense people's truth, and you can sense if your provider's being honest, and if they are like feeling like they got you, if they know they
Hmm.
got you. um, I've done Iboga now also in settings where there was a larger group of people, and um, there was only 7 or 8 people. It wasn't like 20 people or something. I would not recommend that unless you had a lot of providers there. But even then, that sounds like kind of a chaotic environment.
Yeah.
So yeah, the retreat I did had, um, a handful of people. Um, and yeah, it was just very different than having a smaller retreat with just a few people.
Hmm.
And
And for context,
yeah,
the larger group was outside of wasn't my retreat. Mine was in a
correct,
closer setting. Yeah.
correct. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was trying to learn a little more about the Iboga world, and yeah, because I've kind of been on this path of exploring becoming a provider myself. So I was exploring different ways that people work with this medicine, and so I got to experience it different ways. And um, yeah, and when you're with a provider who's um, able to give you um, a lot of attention and um, able to go deep with you and be really thorough, it makes a difference. So
Hmm.
yeah, that's definitely something to consider.
Beautiful. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's helpful because I do think choosing a provider, even from my own standpoint, is important. As you said, marking that you feel safe with them and really knowing that you can trust them, that they're confident in what they're doing, also provides that safety. So really, really great points. Now, what's your experience then in my retreat? Now that you do have a context of you've been in other circles and things, what makes my retreat stand out and me as a provider in your own experience?
Yeah, I'm happy to speak to this. You changed my life, so happy to
Oh,
speak to this.
thank you.
um, yeah, your retreat was very thoughtful. Um, like very intentional. All of the details. Um, like I said, I felt really held. I felt like you were really conscientious about the environment, about the little details in the experience that, if they are a little more wild, they can kind of activate some anxiety in yourself. And I didn't have to experience that with you. I just got to like fully surrender to my healing work. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, it was very simple and very authentic to you in many ways. Like in terms of simple, I mean like just the it wasn't like a crazy elaborate like luxury. um I don't know, it was exactly what it needed to be. It was like very high quality and very refined, like in a thoughtful and comfortable way. Uh yeah, and it felt very authentic. Yeah. And you weren't charging $10,000. Uh that somebody might, if they were taking to this a crazy luxury, I don't know, this world has different versions of retreat, right? And yeah, and then most importantly, just the way that you worked with the medicine. I just could tell that you were really grounded in your relationship with the medicine and with your own truth. Like you were walking the walk. Um and um yeah, and I knew that if things came up that you were going to have the skills to help me navigate that. And that matters.
Yeah.
um yeah, I mean it's not like a particularly dangerous medicine. There's definitely things you have to be careful about. There's some aspects where it could be dangerous, and you definitely don't just want to like take it with a random person or
Yeah.
order it online and take it. That's not this medicine. Uh, but yeah, it's not like one of the riskiest things you can do. And so in many retreats, as long as they're taking some safety precautions, you'll be okay. But you might not be able to go as deep, and you might have to come back again, again a few more times than you would need to if you were with a provider like you that is really grounded in your uh, the quality of your work, of your healing.
Hmm.
Yeah, I felt like you were so thorough, and like I said, I'll say again, I just felt so held by you. And also, it's not like you were just trying to make it all comfortable and easy and reassure me. Like, there's moments when you're doing spiritual work, growth work, when you need someone to be honest with you
Yeah.
in a firm way, and you were able to do that too in a loving way.
Yeah.
And that's really important as well. Yeah.
Yeah, such a great perspective and variety of your experience. So thank you for sharing that. I think that's
Mhm.
really helpful as because people coming to whether they're called to medicine or any type of healing modality, it's like so good to hear from someone that's gone through it what to look for and especially choosing provider for something that can be, a big deal. It's different than most things, and especially us in the Western world, like we're not used to really this type of modalities. It's getting a little bit more known, so it's really nice to get that perspective.
Yeah.
So, a
Yeah.
follow up question. Oh, go ahead.
It just, I've in other retreat settings, things felt a little more. There was just a few more risks, and it was a
Mhm.
little more reckless in some ways, like a little more.
Yeah,
And I didn't feel that at all with your retreat. Yeah, no recklessness.
yeah, yeah.
And that's
Yeah,
great
not gonna put
because
that one.
I didn't have that energy of like, oh, this is like an extra challenge that I have to kind of deal with, or an extra discomfort that I have to deal with. I just got to focus.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I can see how important that is. Like you said, to be able to fully open and surrender, you need that safety there so you can, or else, yeah, you're navigating something that has nothing to do with you and your healing. Now you're like questioning if you're safe or not. And you can't drop into a deeper experience without having safety first, like and foremost.
It's just a little distracting. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I didn't feel like there was many distractions at your retreat. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful. And then, so leading into the next question is people that are curious about this medicine, what would you say are any advice you have for them, or how would they know, like maybe Iboga would benefit them? Like, yes, this person, come try Iboga.
Um, well, I remember when I was on my journey, and I was just kind of catching up with you as a friend and like a former client of yours, former coaching client of yours. We were just kind of catching up, and at that time, I had kind of become aware that there was some things that were keeping me stuck, and I was starting to become aware that that might be related to old traumas.
Mhm.
and and you mentioned, like, when we were just catching up, you mentioned, oh yeah, I've been working with this medicine, and it's good for old traumas. And I was like, huh. um, and yeah, Iboga, it's very serendipitous sometimes. So that was one of the first things that called me. Yeah. And then I remember you used this phrase. You were like, yeah, it's good if you're sick and tired of being sick and tired. And like I said, I wasn't in like a dark place in my life, but there was some things that I was sick and tired of being sick and tired of.
Yeah.
So So yeah, I was willing to go all the way and do the work. I wasn't coming to it out of like just curiosity or just like I want to try
Mm-hmm.
this psychedelic and have this like psychedelic experience. Like definitely not.
Yeah.
As a friend of mine said, like this is not a fun drug. There's maybe some fun drugs out there that, and this is not one of those drugs. It's spiritual medicine, and not to say that there aren't beautiful and joyful moments, but yeah, um,
You're coming to do work.
yeah, right. You don't want that to be your main priority. Just having
Yeah.
fun. Yeah. Um, so yeah, I would say if somebody is feeling serious about their healing, about their taking their relationship with themselves more seriously,
Mm-hmm.
and if they, yeah, if they have some old traumas that they want to deal with, some habits that they want support with breaking, um, or if they're just looking for kind of reconnection um, with their spiritual life, with the spiritual part of themselves, and I mean all of that can be kind of connected as well. Yeah, um, I would say this is something definitely to consider.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, and I feel like I've talked to people about this, so I'm trying to remember like what I've said to friends and family recently. Yeah, if you're ready to if you're ready to let go of some things and be authentic in your authentic power,
Mm-hmm.
um, this is good. This is good medicine. Um, yeah. Anything else I would say while you're choosing a provider? Yeah, do your research. I recommend Sam. I can recommend her. And um, yeah, and listen to your gut.
Mm-hmm.
Ask the questions you need to ask. Start to connect with your truth already, because this is the path of truth. So just be honest with yourself, even as you begin this process. And if something doesn't quite feel right with a certain provider you've been talking to, um, keep looking, keep asking questions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Great. Um, you kind of briefly mentioned a little bit of your like after transformation and who you've become, but if you just want to highlight that a little bit, like who are you now after Iboga, now that you've met Iboga, and speaking to yourself a little bit, inner and outer, however you want to.
Um, yeah, I'm someone who appreciates myself,
Mm-hmm.
even despite my flaws. Um, I'm someone who knows how to connect with my truth. And I think I speak more from that place and I act more from that place. Um, I'm someone who has direction in my life, which is huge. That was one of the main things I was looking for.
Yeah.
Um, and that took a while, but like I slowly have found my direction. Um, yeah, I know the kind of relationships that I want. I know the kind of work that I want. Um, I know that there's a lot of things I thought I wanted that I don't actually need, because like I ultimately just need a life that's going to allow me to be present as much as possible,
Mm-hmm.
to just be as much as possible and just enjoy the beauty of life and enjoy the beauty of the world, the simple beauties. Um, yeah, I'm someone that doesn't tolerate um, that doesn't tolerate energy that might be pulling me down away from my truth, away from like my best self. Um, and I don't tolerate those choices in myself, and I don't tolerate, yeah, just, I don't know, that energy around me. Um, I'm someone who's kinder to myself, who takes better care of myself. Um, I'm someone who is currently in a relationship that I would never have been in a year ago. Um, I'm living a totally different life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is so beautiful to hear. And living this like different life. I said it, so I was actually having this conversation yesterday, but it was like the way I described it, I'm curious if you can resonate with this, is I was like, I'm just more me. Like I was always me, but I had a lot of weird things I was doing and shit on top of it. And it's not that Iboga changed me, it actually just made me more me to like bring out all these things, whether it be the relationship that maybe you'd never have or being in the place and having the direction that you've been wanting. Would you say like in your own words, of course, but that's how I resonate with it. I'm like, it just made me more me.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think that authenticity piece is huge. Like we are not meant to live anyone else's life. We're meant to live our authentic life and be able to use.
Oh, your voice cut out again. I don't know what happened. Okay. There you go.
Yeah, we're here to be our authentic selves and use our authentic gifts in the world and find our authentic pleasures and um yeah, so that resonates with me as well. Yeah.
Beautiful. I'm curious if you have anything else you'd like to share with people that are curious, or to share about yourself, your experience, about me, anything that comes to mind.
Yeah, I mean, just start by trusting your truth because is that is the whole journey. That is the foundation. That is one of the foundations for the whole journey. So, um, if your truth is telling you that this might be something supportive for you, trust that. Um, yeah,
Lovely. Simple. It's true. Try, and for those that struggle to trust themselves, it's like allowing yourself to rebuild that trust by, okay, I do have an inkling. Let me be curious about it and find out for myself. And I think that's a great start, is really just listening to the callings that we have inside that sometimes we ignore. And it's like, at what point are we going to actually start to listen? So lovely to hear all your feedback, Sarah. It's been so good to connect with you as well.
yeah,
So I'm just so proud of you, and to really see you transform and what you've been able to not become externally, but become internally, really, because your external has just been mirroring that. And appreciate you from being on this call with me, getting together and really getting to help others that are curious, because that's how I see it, is this conversation is opening a door for people that maybe they're curious, maybe they don't even know what it is, they're stuck. I think we resonate in a lot of that. I was like high functioning, but there was certain things I was stuck in, and I was just like, there's something else that I couldn't get to. And this really stripped those layers for me, as you shared in your own story.
yeah,
um,
yeah.
and
I mean,
others will resonate with it or they won't, and that's okay. Everyone has their own directory, their own path, their own life.
yeah, I mean, yeah. If you trust yourself and you're feeling that resonance with this path, then I would say also that you can trust this medicine. It is, yeah, it's really a gift to us. Yeah, it's really a gift to us. And yeah, keep asking questions that you need to ask. But yeah, trust yourself and trust the medicine.
Lovely. All right, Sarah. Well, that I feel ends our discussion for today, and that's a lot of that people can take in and figure out for themselves and have their own, um, yeah, own decisions by just sharing. And so, thank you again for being here. I'll definitely connect with you soon as well, and love to hear more about details of your life. So,
Yeah.
yes, thank you again. So, I'm gonna go ahead and end the call then.
Okay. It's good to
Yeah,
hear your
thank
voice.
you. Yeah, same.
My difficulty.
No worries. Take care, Sarah.
You too.
All right. Bye.